Hello everyone and welcome back to Motion Recaps. In today's video we will narrate an adventure action movie called Race to Witch Mountain. Watch out for spoilers. A UFO crashes in Nevada, and the U.S. Department of Defense rolls in with Agent Henry Burke and his two assistant agents. Their names are Matheson and Pope. They go to the location where the UFO crashed, and Henry orders his men to isolate the place so that no one can see anything. In Las Vegas, we meet our protagonist Jack Bruno. He is a reformed gangster who drives a taxi. He has a casual work night, and he meets a doctor named Alex Friedman. They talk about aliens. Jack thinks that they do not exist, but Alex thinks the opposite. They talk a little more, and Jack drops her off at the sci-fi convention. Then he heads back to his home, where he barely manages to sleep because of his annoying neighbors. The next day, Henry and his assistants find two pairs of footprints. After the examination, they find out that footprints have a humanoid form. It's a new workday for Jack. He gets out, and immediately, two gangsters show up. They tell Jack that his ex-boss, Mr. Wolf, wants him back. Jack refuses, and he intimidates them a little. The police car stops to check the situation out, and gangsters flee. Jack starts his car, ready to start his workday. However, he is surprised when he sees two kids in his backseat. The girl introduces herself and her brother. She is Sarah, and he is Seth. They give Jack a huge amount of money, and Sarah instructs him in which direction to drive. At that time, the man in black trio finds out that Sarah and Seth are aliens. They saw them on a security camera while they were entering the bus, and then they saw them entering Jack's taxi. They waste no time, and they immediately go to find them. Jack is driving two alien kids in the middle of nowhere, and he tries to ask them a few questions. Who are they, and where are their parents? He thinks that they ran away from home. Then, Sarah informs him that someone is following them. Jack turns around and sees a few black SUVs. He slows down to let SUVs pass, but to his surprise, they box him. He figures out that Sarah is right, and he gives his best to escape. He manages to get out of the box, and Seth just gets through the backseat, and he stops one of the SUVs with his body. Sarah takes control of the taxi with her powers, and she drives in reverse to get her brother. Seth quickly gets back to the car. Jack gets out, and he threatens Henry, thinking that he is working for his gangster ex-boss. Then, he continues to drive the kids to their destination. Soon they arrive at an abandoned house, and they give him a lot of money before they go inside. Jack sees that they overpaid, and he goes after them. He sees that the house is wrecked, and soon he finds kids hiding. Then, they go to the secret basement, which has exotic flora and some weird egg. Sarah puts her necklace on one egg, and after it glows red, she retrieves an object from that egg. Jack asks her what that thing is, and she says that they came only for that. Then, they hear someone entering the basement, and Jack tells the kids to hide. He plans to ambush the intruder, but his plan fails, as an intruder in a special suit throws him like a rag doll. The intruder then shoots the eggs with his Predator-style gun. Everything starts burning. They manage to escape before the whole house turns to ashes. They get in the car, and Jack starts driving. He starts asking questions, but kids still are not giving him the answer. Out of nowhere, an aircraft comes out, and it starts shooting at them. Jack gives his best to escape in one piece, and eventually, they hide in a tunnel. Sarah then tells Jack that they are being chased by Siphon. Seth explains that Siphon is an assassin that wants to kill them and destroy an object they took from the egg. While they are talking, a blue ray is coming towards them, and they figure out that Siphon is looking at them. On their luck, the ray stops, and Jack slowly. However, Siphon enters the tunnel, and he starts chasing them. Jack drives as fast as he can. He manages to avoid the incoming train, and the train crashes into Siphon aircraft. Then, Jack drives to safety, and he finally finds out that the kids are aliens. Sarah shows his telekinetic powers, and she tells him about Seth's powers. Then they go to the nearest town, and there they find an auto mechanic. Jack gives him the money and tells the man that he wants his car fixed in a few hours. Jack goes to a cafe with the kids. There he finds out that Sarah can read his mind. Jack gets a phone call from Henry, who is surrounding a building with his man. He tells Jack that if he hands over the kids, he will have a clean file. Jack doesn't bite. Henry and his men enter the cafe, and they enter a median standoff with the local sheriff and with his men. Jack and the kids use the chance to escape with the help of a waitress. They get out in a backyard, only to find a vicious dog. But Sarah calms the dog down with her powers, and she befriends him. Sheriff lets Henry through after seeing his ID, but it's too late as Jack drives away. Henry gets out, ready to shoot at the car, but the dog from earlier jumps, and he bites his arm. Sarah then stops the car so the dog can enter. They name him Junkie. Then Seth explains to Jack that the Earth will be destroyed if they do not come back to their planet. Sarah then tells Jack that they need their ship that is taken away by Henry. Jack then gets an idea to go and look for Dr. Alex Friedman. They find Alex, and they take her to a room to explain everything. At first, she doesn't believe in the story that kids are aliens. However, after they show her their powers, her opinion quickly changes. Seth shows them a holograph of their galaxy, and Sarah explains to them that their planet is dying. There are people on their planet who just want to invade Earth. They also reveal that their parents are scientists, and that they managed to make a device that regenerates life. That's the device that Sarah retrieved from the egg. If they don't bring the device back in time, aliens will invade Earth. Also, Siphon is sent by people who want to invade Earth. Alex then tells them that she knows a person that probably knows their ship is. She then takes them to Dr. Harlan, and he tells them that the ship is held by the government at the place called Witch Mountain. He gives them the plan of the place and also pictures. They go back to the convention, and Alex tells them that she needs to grab her stuff and that she will meet them after that. She goes away, and Jack loses the kids. He goes to look for them, and Henry shows up with his man. Jack finds kids watching a geekish play show, and out of nowhere, Siphon appears. He is ready to shoot them, but Sarah uses her telekinetic powers to buy them more time. They run away, but they enter a casino where Henry sees them. There Sarah uses her powers again to make a jackpot on every slot machine, and chaos emerges. At that moment, Alex gets out of the elevator, and she is confused about a situation in the casino. Jack comes to her, and they run away. Henry goes outside with his men, and they chase Jack's taxi in their SUVs. They manage to surround it, but only to find out that Dr. Harlan is in there. Jack, Alex, and the kids are in Harlan's van, and they are going at full speed to Witch Mountain. They manage to get to their destination. After making a plan, they carefully sneak in. However, Sarah and Seth get shot with sleeping darts. Out of nowhere, a bunch of special forces show up, and they surround Jack and Alex. Henry emerges. He tells Jack that he will wipe his file clean if he leaves the kids. Jack thinks a little bit, and he agrees. He and Alex are being transported by army personnel. Alex is angry at Jack, and they start to argue. The situation escalates when Alex slaps Jack. The soldier turns around to tell them to stop, and Jack punches him. He does the same to the driver, and they hijack the vehicle. They head back to save the kids. At the base, Henry orders Matheson and Pope to begin with an examination of Sarah and Seth. The kids are in a deep sleep, and now they are in the unmerciful hands of the government. Jack and Alex manage to sneak into the base through the exhaust furnace. They almost got burned to a crisp while trying to do that. Eventually, they arrive at the place where Sarah and Seth are set up for the examination. And on their luck, or unluck, Siphon shows up. The alarm turns on, and Henry rounds up his men to take the assassin out. They are shooting with everything they got, but Siphon has more superior weapons, and special forces retreat. Jack and Alex use that chance to get medical suits and to get into the room where kids are sleeping. There, Jack beats Matheson and Pope, and with Alex's help, they wake up the kids. Henry comes to check the kids, and he sees that they are gone. Our group manages to get to a hangar where the spaceship is held. However, there are a dozen scientists down there, and they can't get to ship because of them. Jack and Alex get an idea. Alex takes a lab coat, and she goes to the scientists to inform them that they need to evacuate. They listen to her, and they get out, allowing Jack and the kids to get down. On their way out, scientists stumble upon Henry, and he figures out what happened. He quickly gets to the hangar with his men. The group is ready to enter the spaceship, but suddenly, there are guns pointed at them. Henry is having them at gunpoint. One man is nervous, and he accidentally fires at the group. The others start shooting too, but Seth manages to hold the bullets like Neo from Matrix. Henry orders them to stop, and then Sifo shows up. He starts blasting, and the group manages to get into the ship. The kids start the spaceship, and they start flying. Everyone is relieved. But suddenly they feel an impact, and Jack goes to check it out. Soon, Jack finds out that it's a siphon. They start their final duel, and Jack manages to take Siphon's mask off, revealing his true disfigured face. Seth comes to help, and together they manage to defeat Siphon, and he falls into the spaceship's energy core. After that, they land next to the van. The kids give Jack a locator, telling him that they will manage to find him someday. Sarah asks Jack to take care of Junkyard for her before she gives him one last hug. Then she goes to the spaceship with her brother. They turn around to see Jack and Alex for one last time, and then they fly away to their home planet. Some weeks later, Bruno and Alex become successful authors of a book named Race to Witch Mountain, a true story. They promote their book and knowledge on the UFO convention, explaining that the publicity protects them from government reprisal. As they leave the convention, the alien device activates, implying that the alien teenagers may be returning to Earth. And that's it for today's video. If you had a good time watching it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more interesting movie recaps.